Hey everyone, it's Kevin. In today's video, I'm going to tell you about eating disorder triggers. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to check out some of my free resources below. And if you want to speak with me directly, there is also a link below. I was triggered. I got triggered. Something triggered me. It made me do it. I lost control. You've said that to yourself before. I used to have this long list of trigger foods, everything from peanut butter to chips to M&Ms to cookies, anything that tasted good. And the longer my ED went on, the longer that list got, to the point where the only thing I could eat without binging was like carrots and maybe potatoes. Obviously, that's no way to live. And there's triggers everywhere. We have thoughts, we have emotions, we have neon signs, we have fast food restaurants, we have advertisements, we have videos, we have certain words. There are triggers everywhere, and we live in this age of trigger. We can't eliminate those triggers, so the best we can do is learn to cope with them and learn to respond to them in a more empowered way. That's why I call my system the Empowered Eating System, and you can find details below. So what are some of these triggers? Let's take a look. The first one is boredom or an unstimulated state. A lot of times people will tell me they ate too much or they binge because they had too much free time. For example, maybe the weekend, or they have a few hours after school or after work and they don't know what to do. They don't have a plan. So what do? They go to the fridge or they go to the pantry and they find something to eat. A lot of times I don't think it's necessarily boredom. I think what it is it's lack of stimulation. Our brains, especially in this day and age, crave stimulation, and we always want to go from a low stimulus state to a high stimulus state. We don't like long stretches of nothing. Don't believe me? Sit still for 30 minutes without any distractions and see if you can make it. If you do it, great. That's a great exercise to do every day. But sitting still is hard. Not being stimulated is hard. When is the last time you had a meal and you weren't on your phone or your laptop? Think about that. So for example, I could have these chips. These are Fritos, okay, your classic chip. So if I were bored and unstimulated, I could just open this and start eating away. And I guess that would help a little bit. It would help for a while, but then I would go through half of this bag and then I would feel bad about it the rest of the day. And then I would have this guilt and this anxiety that I didn't have before. It's not worth the trade-off is what I'm saying. If you're bored, that's fine. Learn to deal with boredom. Learning to deal with boredom and learning to deal with an unstimulated environment is a really critical skill to have in this day and age. You cannot be stimulated 24/7 or 16/7 since you sleep 8 hours a day. My advice to you is to actively seek out periods of low stimulation and enjoy it. The next trigger is coming home at the end of the day. It is time to relax. You don't have any more obligations. People don't need you. Well, they need you, but they don't need you right now. Nothing is urgent. And now you have some free time to yourself. This is when a lot of people get into trouble. Have a plan for when you come home. What are you going to do when you come home? What is something more constructive you could do? Could you do some more menial tasks? Maybe you're burned out. Maybe you don't want to do anything that's hard. Fine. Watch a movie, watch a show, watch YouTube, listen to music. We have so many options these days. Or maybe do some menial tasks. Do something that's easy. A lot of times we're just procrastinating and we don't want to do hard work. So we do something that makes us feel good. Problem is that hard work is still there and now you feel worse. All right, so I just got home, saw a few patients today. It's still really hot out there. Usually what I would do at this time is I would go straight to the kitchen and grab something, and then I would just eat so much late in the day. I would do really well during the day, but then I would get home and I would just basically binge. Let's head to my favorite place, the refrigerator. Let's take a look. I've got some healthy stuff. I'm using that. I actually use that for a thumbnail. That's real soda. I've got my baby carrots, and then I had a donut, had to make that for my ad. And then there's a big thing of peanut butter. I don't think you can see that's way back there. It's actually my landlord's. I don't really like Skippy. Got a half-eaten protein bar, some M&Ms. I got a lot of stuff for my thumbnails, my images, and it just makes them really stand out. But I have to admit, I munch on the M&Ms over the course of the week. So this would be a really vulnerable time for me because I would just have nothing to do and I would want to relax, and I would go into my room, do my notes, and I would just snack all afternoon. It was really comforting and relaxing, but there was a huge cost to pay. And after a while, it wasn't worth it. A lot of disordered eaters have the same problem. They do well during the day, it's at night when they cave in. For many years, the worst time of the day for me was the late afternoon or early evening. After school or after work, I would come home, do schoolwork, or do my notes for my job. And in order to get through all of that work, I would consume lots and lots of food. I did this to relieve the tedium, to make it a little more entertaining, but it was coming at an enormous cost. I was always distracted too. Either I was trying to type a report, or I was on my computer or on my tablet, I was typing things, and I was using food as a crutch in a way. For a lot of disordered eaters, this is the worst time of the day. The next thing is anxiety and stress. We live in a world filled with stress, filled with anxiety. We have more labor-saving devices, dishwashers and washing machines. The paradox is it's only made our lives more stressful because we just added more demands, more activities. Kids play select sports. Now we have 18 or 21 credits in college. Now we have a job, but we also have a side gig. We want more and more out of life, but that increases stress. And it also means we have to work more to earn that money. This is what's called lifestyle inflation. The more money we make, the more we spend, the greater our lifestyle becomes. With that comes stress and anxiety. And learning to deal with stress and anxiety is another really powerful skill to have in the 21st century. And using cheap fixes like chips and candy and other junk food is a really unhealthy way to do it. If I'm stressed and anxious, it's easy to grab something like this and have just one. The problem is when you just have one, the next thing you know, the whole bag is empty. WTF, where did it all go? This will only take care of your stress and anxiety for a little bit, but as soon as you finish the bag, now you're stressed, you're anxious, and you feel bad about having the bag. It's a temporary escape, and that's all it is. I don't treat stress and anxiety. I don't deal with a lot of stress and anxiety. I mean, I have a lot of demands, but I just don't get stressed out and flustered as much as some people. That doesn't mean I'm better. I have my own mental health issues, but you're going to have to find a better solution to that. And stimulants and chemicals like food, that's probably one of the worst things you could do for anxiety and stress. Anything else would be better. Going outside on a sunny day, taking a walk and listening to a good podcast, audiobook, or some music, that's going to be far more therapeutic than putting a bunch of fat and sugar into your body. The next trigger is processed foods. We see processed foods everywhere. Stop for gas, there's a convenience store. You go to the grocery store, there's tons of processed food there. There's tons of restaurants, you can have it delivered to your home. You're only one button away from having all of this food delivered to your home. These companies are creating new and better products. They know more about your brain than you. They know where to put these products in the grocery store. They put them at the front. They put them on end displays. This is all calculated. It's all calculated to make you buy and eat and come back for more. So let's take a look at some of these examples. I've already shown some of these. You got the chips, okay? And then you have candy like this. I used to eat tons of M&Ms. Actually, the peanut flavor, my favorite, but I try not to have those too often. And then you have your morning cereal, sugar frosted flakes. Thing is, no one food can trigger you. All it is chemical in the end. It's just starch and fat and milk chocolate and oil and other questionable ingredients. And they put it in a box and they put a nice label on it and they say, this will make you feel good. Have you ever seen that commercial? I think it's Golden Corral and it says, eat your way to happiness. Well, that's what they're selling. The thing is, these foods don't make you feel better. They elevate your mood temporarily, and then there's always a crash. If you feel good eating Frosted Flakes in the morning, go ahead. I imagine there are better options. My point is, none of these foods can trigger you. It's not like if I have one bite of Fritos or potato chips or something, that I necessarily have to eat the whole bag. That's always my choice. I used to say that these foods triggered me and I had a trigger binge. That wasn't the case. It's just I was giving myself an excuse to eat more. If I eat one bite, then I might as well have 100 bites. That's really convoluted thinking and it only hurts you. The next one is hearing numbers like weight and calories. I've seen videos where they don't mention numbers and they don't mention calories because they say that's a trigger. Say, okay, I'm going to bleep out weight, I'm gonna bleep out the pounds, I'm gonna bleep out the kilograms, I'm gonna bleep out calories. And then I look on Instagram and it's like a 4-letter word. It's like, they're just numbers. Well, the thing is, numbers can't hurt you. They're just numbers. And I think we need to deal with these numbers. I mean, these are real things. Weight is a real thing. Calories are a real thing. Macros are a real thing. Just putting your fingers in your ear and pretending like these concepts don't exist, that's not helpful. You need to speak real language and you need to deal with real concepts. These numbers and these words should not trigger you. The next and final one is signs. We see the neon sign that says open 24/7. There's a donut shop here that's open 24/7. Why does a donut shop need to be open at 2 in the morning? I don't know. I guess maybe they're trying to get as much profit as possible, but a lot of fast food restaurants have the 24/7 drive-through, and they have those golden arches, and they have the big signs, and they say, you know, 2 burgers for $2, and there's a special today. Or you watch a football game and there's a commercial. Every other commercial is something for like beer, pizza, fast food, something really unhealthy. All right, guys, so I'm here at McDonald's. As you can see, there's the big arches, and then over there you've got the Popeyes, and then over there you have the Subway. So you've got plenty of options here. Listen, none of this stuff can really trigger you. I don't think. I pass probably 200 fast food restaurants in a day, not to mention all of the Starbucks and all of the donut shops, and then all of the grocery stores. I mean, this stuff is everywhere. I mean, look at that. It's just like an entire row. And then you go down there and there's even more. So it's like, what are you gonna do about it? Just gonna let it trigger you? These cannot trigger you. Advertisements cannot trigger you. Advertisements cannot make you do anything. All an advertisement is a sign that something is available. Hey, listen, we have pizza. You can get an extra large with soda and breadsticks for $9.99. That's all it's saying. It can't make you do it. Somebody has to put your credit card on file and submit the order. You have to drive to the place and get the food, or you have to press the button to have it delivered. In the end, it's always your choice, and there's no advertisement in the world that can trigger you. Anybody who's ever run ads knows that finding that one ad that really resonates with the market is really hard. What are some other triggers that you can think of? Let me know in the comments below. Hope you found this video educational and entertaining. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my free resources below. If you liked this video, I'm sure you'll like one of the other videos you see on the screen. Click one of them and I'll see you there.